everybody, and welcome back to another YouTube video. So today, if you couldn't tell, it's a bit of a different one. We do have another discussion video for you guys, but today you're not actually seeing Dokkan gameplay in the background because this isn't really an anime discussion, nor does it pertain to Dokkan specifically or anything like that. So I do have some Marvel Future Fight gameplay in the background. It's literally just my characters going through and sort of farming up some gold, just a little something different. I will be covering this game in the near future, but today I just have some background footage, and I'm just explaining it right now so you guys don't get too confused. But today, if you read the title of this video, which I'm sure you did, then you already know what I'm about to discuss, and if you haven't heard this already yourselves, you're probably a little confused. I know I was, but this was sent to me. So basically, there's been a lot of talk about Spider-Man 3, right? A lot of people have not only been talking about Spider-Man 3, but, people have been speculating Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man making a showcase, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, just different stuff, right? And along with all of this talk about, what Spider-Man's going to show up where in this movie, the whole argument of Doctor Strange, and the multiverse being a canon thing in the MCU and sort of making its full, true debut in Spider-Man 3 has been discussed, and this has obviously led into the whole Spider-Verse debacle, right? So, with that being said, a lot of people have been discussing Miles Morales. As you guys know, back in 2018, I believe, we did get Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and even this year, November 1st, with the release of the PS5, we got Spider-Man Miles Morales, and with both of these being super huge, Spider-Man things in general in the past few years, one of which mainly capitalizing on Miles Morales with the fact that it just has his name in the title, and the other one also capitalizing on Miles Morales but also including other members of the Spider-Verse and whatnot. Discussion of a live-action Miles Morales in the MCU has sort of, made its rounds, right? And I wanted to talk a little bit about a potential casting for Miles Morales today that somebody brought to my attention, and I was just completely dumbfounded by this. So this isn't actually going to happen as of right now. This isn't confirmed or anything. This is purely speculation and just, a rumor. But somebody was talking to me about Spider-Man 3, potential this, potential that, and they sent me this article. Now, I will try to include a link to this article in the description below. If I can't, then, well, you won't see it. But if I did find this article on my phone or whatever, then you'll see the link, right? If you don't, then you don't. But essentially, this article is by cheatsheet.com. I've never heard of this website, this platform, whatever. But the title of it is essentially, Jaden Smith could be the live-action Miles Morales fans have been waiting for. Now, before I actually get into the actual meat of this article, I just want to already say my piece. Before I go too deep, though, this is 100% my opinion, right? I'm not, claiming that these are facts or anything like that. This is just how I feel, right? how I feel, how I see it, and how I think things should be going down or whatever, and just what I don't think should happen. And this is one of them. I definitely think that if Kevin Feige and the rest of the guys at Disney or Marvel Studios or whatever are considering Jaden Smith for Miles Morales, I definitely think that that is an L, a huge L. I think Jaden Smith will kill the role of Miles Morales, and not in a good way. I definitely think that Jaden Smith is a very bad pick for Miles Morales. Straight up. I don't know. He just doesn't feel like Miles Morales. I can't look at Jaden Smith and think Miles Morales. You know what I mean? But anyways, this article is by Roberta Robbins. It's by a chick. Well, that's probably part of the reason right there. Just kidding. But this article was posted October 21st, 2020. So this was literally just a little less, this was a little over a week before the drop of the PS5 and the Miles Morales game. Basically, the article goes to say one of the most popular Marvel franchises is Spider-Man. That's true. We can all agree with that. Most people, I think, especially now with the release of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, both Spider-Man PS5 games, or 1.5 Spider-Man PS5 games, and just, all of the Spider-Man nonsense that's been going on in the past 5 years, people can definitely say without a doubt that Spider-Man has sort of re-peaked. I know when I was a kid, Spider-Man was my favorite superhero. Now that I'm older and everything, Batman is my favorite superhero, but I could definitely see people saying that Spider-Man is one of, if not the most popular Marvel franchise. Even now, when you think of Marvel or whatever, you think of Spider-Man, right? It goes on to say most people know the character's civilian identity to be Peter Parker. That's kind of irrelevant. However, Miles Morales became popular among fans after the release of the animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is kind of false, low-key. I mean, people have been fans of Miles ever since he debuted in the comics. He was one of the few examples of comic books or anything really adding a sort of black, not necessarily replacement, but replacement for an already super popular, super beloved character that people didn't hate, right? He was definitely one of the prime examples of a black version of an already existing super popular character that people were okay with, right? Another couple good examples. I mean, War Machine, the difference between War Machine and Miles Morales would be War Machine was introduced as Tony's best friend. He wasn't really introduced to be Tony's replacement, right? And the same thing goes for Miles Morales. Miles Morales was introduced in this sort of alternate Earth where, Peter Parker dies, and Miles, having spider powers of his own, takes it upon himself to sort of, fill in the role of Spider-Man and fill in those shoes. And one of the biggest reasons why people love his character so much is because he doesn't just decide he's going to become Spider-Man and then nails it perfectly. He struggles, right? And we see the boy Miles, basically get his butt handed to him. Tons, right? So it's very, very easy to see, why people like Miles so much. He's not just a black replacement for a beloved character, right? which is where some other characters have flopped, understandably. But let's continue. One common question among fans is if the movie will see a live-action adaptation. They also wonder which actor would play Miles. One option might be, and then it's highlighted, Jaden Smith. So then it goes on to talk about Jaden Smith's career. Talks about how Jaden Smith has already created music for a Marvel movie. Obviously, they're talking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Another thing that they couldn't actually bring up at the time, but, that they do actually have going for their point would be the fact that Jaden Smith also has the main song that is featured in Spider-Man Miles Morales, the game. It's also a Jaden Smith song. It's also Kid Cudi, but still, right? It says, could Jaden Smith play the live-action Miles Morales? All right. There have been several movie adaptations of the Spider-Man comics. Most of the previous films were live-action, with the most recent one starring Tom Holland. Some fans wonder if there is going to be a sequel to the animated film, or even a live-action version. For some animated shows and movies, fans like to pick their favorite actors to play characters in a hypothetical live-action adaptation. If Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse were to have real-life actors on screen, fans speculate who would be in it. Right? And I mean, that's fair, right? So, to talk about this, personally, I don't necessarily actually know who I would choose to be a live-action Miles Morales. I just know I wouldn't choose Jaden Smith. It's mainly has to do with the way Jaden Smith carries himself and, etc., etc. Jaden Smith doesn't really resonate or sort of, give off Miles Morales vibes. Miles Morales is a goofy, energetic, fun-loving kid, who's stepping into the role of Spider-Man and doing his best to nail it while being a half African American or black, don't gotta be PC, half Latino teen living in New York, Brooklyn, Harlem, wherever they decide to put him, right? Meanwhile, Jaden Smith is a weirdo who thinks that he's an icon simply because he does things that most people would probably get bullied for. I mean, he doesn't give off those vibes, nor does he even look like what people would think the definitive Miles Morales would look like. Now, the article does go on to talk about an actor who I do think possibly would be a much better pick, and that's Caleb McLaughlin. I think I pronounced that correctly. If you don't know who that is, please, I highly advise that you look up Caleb McLaughlin, or just the Stranger Things cast if you don't know how to pronounce that. And then you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But if you've seen Stranger Things, then you know that he is the guy who plays Lucas. Now, by this point, I think all of the Stranger Things cast is like in their 17s or 18s. So he is roughly around that age, and he does give off more of a Miles Morales vibe, in my opinion. They also bring up Tyler James Williams, which, if you've ever seen Everybody Hates Chris, it's Chris, right? But other than that, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Somebody brought this to my attention, and so I just had to talk about this in a video. I know it's a little random. It's a little, out of nowhere. And I do apologize for that, and I do apologize for not being able to upload last week. I did say that, that week was going to be a little tough because it's Thanksgiving week and everything, which, by the way, I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. I know I personally did have a good Thanksgiving, despite, COVID still being an active thing and whatnot. And now that Thanksgiving is over and, I've sort of, recovered from that, I am, still working on things behind the scenes regarding what I talked about in my last video and whatnot, so there is that going on, but I am, about to be going strong once again on the uploads. I will have more videos like this, especially featuring the gameplay you see in the background of this video, being Marvel Future Fight and whatnot. And I will have more videos, sort of doing discussions like this where I talk about, anime or, comic book related content. I am going to have another video going up probably around the same time as this one, just to make up for the fact that I haven't really uploaded that much recently, and because I do have the free time, I can, double upload. So I might double upload, might not. If you see two videos go up at the same time, then there you go. But that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked the video, then please drop a like, right? And if you do like what I do on this channel and do want to see more, then feel free to also subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, don't forget to share the video. On my most recent videos, the views have been, well, lackluster, to say the least. And I'm not out here begging for views, but we gotta do what we gotta do, right? And, on my earliest videos, there's plenty of views to go around. Yeah, on my most recent videos, there ain't. So, please, if you know people that would enjoy my content, or find it helpful or whatever, then definitely share the video with them. Just share the videos around, right? It helps and it goes a long way. But that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Peace.